right, boys, we're back. We're still at the deadline here. Well, not the deadline, but our off-season deadline. We're gonna make a trade, and I wanted to get these videos out so you guys could see all the options. So far, we've done 4 teams. The last video was running kind of long, so we're gonna continue it here. Nashville, we got Kostitsyn and Spies. All right, so let's continue. New Jersey, find some forwards. I think we already checked New Jersey, didn't we? Yeah. So no to New Jersey. Islanders. Grabner, his trade value is it's up there. It's not horrible, but it is up there. What's he like? Grabner. I mean, he's 25, sniper. I like our other snipers so far. He's our other snipers like Boys and Jokinen and even Williams have better defensive ratings. So we'll skip on Grabner. He's also kind of young and he's got a good trade value. I want to find that perfect older guy who's just ready to retire, but he's still good. Gabrick would be good, but no way I'm going to get him. Nobody on Rangers. Ottawa. A lot of you guys were saying Milan Michalek. He wouldn't be bad. He's a sniper. He's 28 years old, though. He's kind of young. What's his trade value like? I thought he was actually a power forward. His trade value is not that bad, but look at his salary, 4.795. Is there a defenseman we could pick up as well in this? Cowan Phillips. Phillips actually might be perfect. Defensive defenseman, we could put him back there instead of DeHaan. Alright, so hang on. We stole Gonchar for them last year. Say we got Phillips this year. We're like 2.5 over, though. That's a lot. That's a lot, too, because we're only trading away prospects, right? I don't think that's going to work, boys. I mean, Michalek, he's good, but just a bit too much. Like, Filatov would be a bit better. Oh, Patrick Iliash. How about Patrick Iliash? They signed them, but we could steal him away. Patrick Iliash, yep. Not bad. Alright, so yeah, we'll put that. Ottawa is going to be Iliash and Phillips. Alright. So there you go. There's another team. We got 5 teams so far. We'll continue here. Philadelphia. No. Voracek. He's got a pretty good trade value, though, so far. Yeah, he's 87 overall. He's pretty good, though. Voracek wouldn't be bad. Hartnell. Briere. Briere wouldn't be bad. I don't think he's a sniper. He's a playmaker, right? Yeah, he's a playmaker. Never mind on Briere. Simmons, Shen. All right, Voracek, but his trade value is kind of high. But if we did, is there a defense that we could pick up as well? Pronger. Voracek and Pronger. Oh, he's still 87 overall. I think that's way too much salary, though. Say if we got Pronger and Voracek, 1.9 over. That's a bit too much. Pronger's salary is way too much. And there's no, yeah. No, we're going to have to skip on Philadelphia, boys. I mean, wait, maybe Voracek and Roosevelt. Nah. We have better options. We're going to skip on Philadelphia. It's easier to tell it's easier to tell once we've seen the other teams if it's going to happen or not. Verbata, this guy is sniper. Verbata, sniper, yes he is. Pretty weak defensive category. Very strong offensive category, though. And his trade value is not that good. Yeah, he might be pretty good. Okay, so Verbata and we'll be able to get anyone here. Morris, Derek Morris, he'd be perfect. A nice veteran, defensive defenseman. Yep. Okay, so there's another choice, boys. From Phoenix, and this one's good because the trade value for both players are kind of low. Okay, so this one's a good one. We wouldn't have to give up too much compared to the other trades to get this back. Morris and where is he? Is he a right winger? Verbata, yeah. All right, so there's another one from Phoenix. There's 6 so far. All right, we got some good options here. Forwards, Kunitz. I like to call him Kunitz. Chris Kunitz. Two-way forward. Nah. He fits in perfectly on Pittsburgh. Not good for our team. Havlat, he's good. Trade value's too high. Clowe, power forward. Nobody on San Jose. St. Louis, Perrin. He's kind of young, though. If I picked him up, he'd be part. No, playmaker, don't need him. Never mind. Backus, he's a sniper, isn't he? Power forward, never mind. Okay, nobody on Florida. I mean, St. Louis. Tampa Bay. St. Louis, he's a playmaker, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Nope. Nope, nobody on Tampa Bay either. Toronto, Phil the Thrill. Yeah, he'd be nice. Joffrey Lupul would be nice too. His trade value is kind of high. Uh, and his salary cap is kind of high as well. Now we'll skip on Joffrey Lupul. Nikolai Kulemin. What's this guy? Sniper, 84. Nikolai Kulemin is kind of nice. He's got 3.6 on his salary. All right, so we'll put Nikolai Kulemin. Is there a defenseman we could grab as well from Toronto? Mike Komisarek, we could no. Gardner or Gunnarsson. Yeah, we could grab one of these guys. But we're looking for no, we can't because we're looking for somebody who's ready to go right now. Gardner's kind of ready to go right now. All right, you know what? I'll put that down just to because it is the trade value for those two guys are not bad. So Gardner and Kulemin. All right, there are better choices though, but I'll still put that down because the trade value it makes up for it. So now we got Vancouver. Is there anybody looking down here? Chris Higgins, is he a sniper or is he a two-way? Chris Higgins is a sniper, alright. His trade value is kind of low, so that makes that nice as well. So Chris Higgins and defenseman Ballard. Nah, his salary cap is too high. So no, we'll skip on Vancouver. And Washington. Any wingers that they have? Ovechkin, no. Okay, they're all too high. The trade values are all too high. Oh yeah, Winnipeg. Fuck, I forgot about Winnipeg. All right. Antropov, Calder. No, nobody can really help us out here. No. Okay, boys. So we've gone through the whole NHL here. Let me go back through every team. So I'll show you guys. We'll end this video. I'll show you guys the players that I'm looking for, and you guys can make the decision. And then in the next video, I'll have my top 3, and I'll try the first one. If I can't get, like, if I have to give up too much to get it, I'll move on to the next one, then move on to the next one, okay? So let me list out the players for you guys. Remember, first we're going for that first line left wing. That's our main responsibility. And then we're trying to get someone for the third line defensive core, okay? Remember, our top 4 defensive core are defensive defensemen, so I wouldn't mind a two-way or offensive defenseman to pick up. So let's go through the teams here. So we'll start Buffalo. We scouted 2 players here in Buffalo. First, we got Brad Boyes, all right, 31 years old. He's a sniper, right wing, pretty good, good defensive awareness, good poise, all right, pretty good salary, so he fits in perfectly. And then defensively, we would pick up what was it, Mark Weber? Mike Weber. Defensive defenseman, yeah, but if we could play him on the third line, he's pretty good defensively. Look at that defensive awareness, body checking, aggressiveness, stick checking, and shot blocking. Pretty good combination there. The trade value is kind of low, so we wouldn't have to get that much to get this. This is one of our best ones. I like this one a lot. Brad Boyes and Weber, okay? That's Buffalo. We'll move on. Carolina, McBain and Jokinen. Jokinen was nice. Trade value's kind of low, but a great offensive category. Better than Boyes. Boyes was better with his poise, but offensively, Jokinen is better. There's our timer. And then on the defensive side, we kind of a weak defenseman here, McBain. Jamie McBain. Not bad offensively, right? But he's 25 years old. The reason I say weak is just because some of the other trades we're going for has better defensemen. So this one, Carolina, definitely more towards Jussi Jokinen. But this one I'd say is kind of weak, okay? So we got Buffalo, Carolina. Let's move on next. We have the LA Kings. LA Kings. And this one had a great forward. Justin Williams. All right, where is he? Right winger. Justin Williams. His trade value is kind of high. 84 overall. Great defensively. Great poise. All right, Justin Williams has some great stats there. And then defensively, who was it? Green. So yeah, LA I think so far was a great trade. Like I think LA is better than Buffalo, but the only thing is we'd have to give up a lot more to LA than Buffalo. So M. Green and Justin Williams for the LA Kings. I like that one though. I do. Nashville. This one's not bad. This one is Sergei Kostitsyn. Trade value's not that high. 84 overall. Weak defensively. Weak poise. Okay, but still makes up for in the trade value. And then defensively, Spiza. high trade value defenseman. But if we were going to give up this guy because he's 23, we would trade one of our young prospects who we would use for the future, okay? Because this guy is good. So if we're making the trade for Nashville, it's all about Spiza. All right, so that's Nashville. Next is Ottawa. This one is kind of low. This one is kind of going for veterans, but this one would be very easy to get, I think. Elias, all right, the guy we tried to get in the free agency, his trade value is very low, but a great sniper. He's got amazing poise. A bit weak defensively, but I'm okay with that poise, and he'd be fine because his trade value is nice and low. 1 year left, low salary. It just fits in perfectly. And then defensively, we'd pick up a great veteran defenseman, Chris Phillips. Above average trade value, but his poise 86. Look at his defensive rating. Yeah, this guy would definitely help us. All right, so I really like that trade for veteran leadership from Ottawa, okay? And that's another one that would be on the easy side of trade value to go after. The next one is Phoenix. This one would be a bit steep in trade value. It would definitely help us, though. Radim Verbata, whatever. Sniper, not bad. Very weak defensively, not the greatest poise, but very strong offensively, okay? And his trade value, it's up there. We've had some better ones. But defensively, Morris, this guy, this would be a steal. Defensive defenseman, low trade value, 1 year left. He's getting worse. All right, he fits in perfectly. He's cheaper than Chris Phillips, basically. So there's Phoenix, and then the last team, last but not least, the Toronto Maple Leafs. This one I just put in there, but I don't think this one is going to work. Nikolai Kulemin, 4 years left at 3.63. It's kind of steep. And considering it's a player that I'm not going to want to use next year, right? But we could trade him. His trade value could be sweet at the draft deadline, so we could trade him. And then the defenseman would be Gardner. Again, another young guy. Really wouldn't... Like, he's a guy who we'd want to put in the prospects, but he is pretty good offensively and defensively. He could play the third line and actually help out our power play as well. So that one's actually not that bad. We would have to trade Kuhlman at the trade deadline and then keep Jake Gardner. But it's not that bad. So there you go, boys. There are the 7 choices that I've made for you guys. And to get these 2 videos up, you guys look at the options that you have and come back. There's nothing else, okay? Don't come back with Stamkos or Crosby. It's those 7 trades, okay? I'm not going to make one trade for a forward and then another team for a defenseman. We don't have enough tradable assets for that. We're going to go for one big blockbuster trade, a forward and a defenseman. So once again, your 7 teams: Buffalo for Boyes Weber, Carolina for McBain Jokinen, LA for Williams and Green, Nashville for Kostitsyn and Spiza, Ottawa for Elias and Phillips, Phoenix for Morris and Verbata, and Toronto for Gardner and Kuhlman. All right, boys, who should we go after for our defense of the Stanley Cup in year 3?